Hey, mamas, you are listening to the Motherhood is Ghetto podcast. We all know motherhood can be a beautiful thing, but girl, it can also be ghetto. Join me as we discuss some of the best and worst parts of being a mom raising kids, all while trying to figure out this thing called life. This ghetto is a safe space, mamas. So, welcome to the hood. Hey, mamas, welcome back to another episode of Motherhood is Ghetto. My name is Joy, and how y'all doing out there? If y'all doing all right, you already know what to say. Say amen. I pray you are having a great day and a great week so far. And in true Motherhood is Ghetto fashion, this episode is coming to you a day late. Okay. And I'm not ashamed about it, amen, because I did have all the intentions to record yesterday on Wednesday. However, I really was enjoying the peace and quiet, and I did not speak for a majority of the day yesterday, and it felt really good just to be in silence and not have to use words and just sit up in here in the quiet. And I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't do nothing. I didn't talk to a neighbor, nothing. I just sat here in the quiet and enjoyed not using my voice. So that was good for me. So, but today I'm feeling in a better mood. I woke up today feeling a little bit heavy emotionally, but I was like, let me go ahead and pick myself up because I have all the reasons to smile. And don't get me wrong, I got reasons to cry too, but I got all the reasons to smile, and that outweighs anything else. So I decided to smile today. Um and also too, I have therapy later and an eye exam later, which I really don't want to go to the eye exam. I don't even know why I scheduled it for today when I really didn't want to go. I low key don't even want to go to therapy today because I don't feel like talking about feelings today so much. Um, and the last therapy session I went to, my therapist hit me with a she hit me with a two piece because normally most of the time in our sessions, like, she helps me kind of navigate through some feelings and like some stresses and stuff that I have at work. But the last time I saw her, I told her, I don't want to, I was like, we could talk about anything but work. I was like, just I don't want to talk about work. Just, I'll talk about whatever you want me to talk about. And then she was like, well, let's talk about your husband. I was like, shit. um not that I didn't want to talk about it. It's just it's a very hard topic for me to talk about. Um Now that, like, I'm working through some things and like uncovering like some just like residual feelings and trauma and stuff like that, it's been kind of heavy to talk about it. But I was like, all right, girl, let's do it. So yeah, so this week, uh we might talk a little bit about work. But that's okay. Like, that's why I'm there for, to try to figure some things out and get myself in order, amen. So that way I'm not always like a crying ball of a mess all the time and always overly emotional, which I very well can be given the circumstances, but trying to do better, trying to be better for myself, for my kids, all that good stuff. So yeah, so that's gonna be later on today. And my goal today is to get this episode recorded, edited, and uploaded before I have to leave the house today. Amen. So yeah, I think I could do it. I think I could do it. But thank you so much for being here. But yeah, this week for me has been okay. A little busy at work and a little busy at home. Um, so this week I got a call from my son's school. And mind you, for my youngest son, for junior, the school never calls about him or for him. Like he is a model student, like he gets straight A's, he's a good kid. So nothing ever goes down when it comes to Joe Jr. So the other day I get a call from the school and the lady's like, "Can I please speak to the parent of Jahari Thompson?" I said, "Hello?" I said, "Who?" And she's like, "Jahari Thompson." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm his mother. How can I help?" And I was confused because the school never calls about him. And so she goes on to say that she was inviting him to join an after school accelerated program, and she was explaining like all the things for it or whatever. And then I was confused because I was thinking that maybe it was for because like he's struggling in a class or something like that. So I asked her, like, is this because like is he failing in an area or is he not doing good? And which also too, when I was thinking about it, I was like, this doesn't sound right because like my son is he's pretty smart. And she's like, no, no, not at all. This is an accelerated program because he's tested so high on his SBAC scores and his reading and math and all that. We want to keep him scoring high. So we don't want those scores to dip. And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay. Um yeah, like we'll check it out and talk about it and see if he's interested in it." And when I got off the phone with her, I was like, "Yeah, like that's cool." Like they see that he's gifted. Like I've been told in the past like he's gifted like in as far as like his intellect and stuff like that. And like before, like people have asked me like if I got him IQ tested, which I haven't. I just know that like he's a smart kid. So when I got off the phone, I was like, oh, this would be a really cool opportunity for him like to keep his knowledge and his skills sharp. So when he comes home that day, he's like, "Mom, I'm not doing that after school stuff." I was like, okay." And and we kind of talked about it and it made me think because at first he was thinking the same thing too. He was like, "I don't need any help, like I'm okay." But then when I explained it to him, it's like it's to keep you scoring the way that you're scoring or even better. um but at the end of it, like he wasn't interested and he didn't want to go. So that brought up an interesting question for me because after he said no, I kind of felt a little bit like, oh, okay, like I thought that this would be something you'd be into. So I was a little disappointed, but then I started thinking, I was like, when do we push our kids? Push them like a little out of their comfort zone or like to reach their max potential? Like, when is it a good time to push and how much push do we give? Because I know that he's gifted and I know that he's smart and I want him to continue to hone those gifts and stuff like that and keep his knowledge sharp. But at the same time, I don't want to pressure him or force him into doing something that he really doesn't want to do, and then it have a opposite effect or him feel resentful for the fact that he's smart and like and is a part of this program. So at first I wanted to kind of force it and be like, no, this is what you're doing, like you're doing this after school. But then I was like, Joy, I don't think that that's okay. Like I don't think that that's right. And because I want him to be able to achieve at the highest potential that he can and really like flex himself. But at the same time, I don't want it to be forced. I don't want him to feel like it's something that I'm making him do or forcing him. And so that way he ends up not happy at the end. And I really had to think about that because I did, like, I wanted to push for it and say, like, no, like, you're going to do this. But then I had to think of, like, all the stories that we hear about people, how they were pushed to their limits by their parents, and like to the point where now they don't get any satisfaction or gratification when they do achieve the highest honors and accolades. Like, it's just always a constant, like, okay, I got this, now I got to do better, or I got to win the next time. Like, and I don't want him to feel that way. And at the end of the day, like he's still a smart kid, and I don't and although I do feel like the accelerated program would have been really good for him, but at the same time, like, I know what my son is capable of, and I know that he'll just continue to be smart and flourish. So I didn't want to press him or push it on him. So yeah, and that's pretty much how I feel with all my kids. Like, I really do wait for them to tell me what they feel like they'll be good at or they will try, because one, if you've been listening long enough, you know I hate to waste money. I hate to waste money on things that we're not sure of. So I always let them test things out, try stuff before we fully commit. So that's number one. But number two, like, I want them to enjoy life. I don't want life to be always so serious for them, or do or die for them. I want them to enjoy life, enjoy being a kid, because like it goes by fast. It's going by fast. So but on the flip side, with my other son, Solomon, so we've had a pretty rough couple weeks. Solomon's grades have been slipping a bit, and there's a couple classes in particular where he's not doing so great in. So, um, reached out to his teachers and was like, "Hey, like, is there anything like after school, like tutoring he can get, like to finish assignments and stuff like that?" So that's what he's been doing for the last few weeks, is staying after school, finish assignments, and to get like more clarity on some things and some lessons and stuff. So, and then the other night, y'all, I felt like a bad bee, because he came and asked me for help with his math homework, and y'all already know, like middle school math is damn near as physics. It's quantum physics, amen. So he asked me for help with his math homework, and I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, I could do, like, yeah, I can help you with this. Like, this is fine. And then after I finished helping, I was like, look at me. Look at me helping with the math homework. And math was not my strong suit when I was growing up. I hated math. That was not me. I was a world history girly, English language arts, like all that stuff, like that was my jam, but math was not. But I was pretty proud of myself. And he was so appreciative. He was like, "Thank you so much, Mom." I was like, "Man, I got you. You are welcome." Um, but yeah, so couple weeks have been a little bit rough. He's been trying to get back on track with his grades and stuff, but that's okay because I'm here to help him. And then it made me think on the flip side, because when he was getting enrolled into his new school, and they were asking him what elective like did he want, you know, and at his old school he was doing robotics. So when he switched to his new school, he wanted to continue to do robotics. But I was really trying to push him to join the band because he plays the drums. He knows how to read music. Like, I was like, this is going to be perfect. And so that way I don't have to pay for lessons outside of school. Like, he's in the band, he's getting free lessons, he's playing music, he's making friends, all that good stuff, right? And I just figured it would be an easy A for him. You go to class, you play the music, you show up to the concerts, and you're done. Easy A, right? But he wanted to do robotics. So now robotics is one of the classes that he's struggling with, and it's taken everything in me not to be like, son, I told you, just join the band. Now it's too late. Now he can't join the band. But that's okay because he's getting the help that he needs to bring his grades up, and that's all we need. Like I told him, like, all I need you to do is pass your classes. You have to do the work. Like, you have to go to your teachers, find out what assignments you're missing, or assignments you can redo for a better grade. I can't do that for you. So you're going to have to go and do that yourself. And he did. So we are working on it, but I know that it kind of affects like his confidence and stuff like that. But I'm pretty positive we're going to get back on track for sure. And with my daughter, she's being the princess that she's always been, and amen to that. She is getting ready. Let's see, April is her birthday. She'll be 15, and y'all, she cannot wait to take her permit test because she thinks she's gonna be driving all around the city. um but April will be her birthday, and then also too, she'll be going on her first college tour, so that's pretty exciting for her and for me too, I guess. Not excited about her being gone for a whole week, but it's for a good thing, and I hope that she learns a lot and she gets exposure to other things. And yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on this week over here. Um, but yeah, but other than that, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. So today I wanted to touch on a topic. I think I want to do a full deep dive like episode of it, but I just wanted to touch on it briefly. But before I do that, did y'all know that this is episode 99 and then the next episode will be episode 100? That's crazy. And I'm thinking about episode 100 having my mom on. Amen. She don't know it yet, but after she listens to this episode, she gonna find out. But I've been thinking about the 100 episode being an interview with my mom and just asking her questions that I need answers to. Amen. Like, that's pretty much the gist of it. And I think that also too, like, it's really important, like I'm a big advocate for not leaving things unsaid. And there have been so many instances where people have exited my life and there's just was so much left unsaid. So I don't want that to be the case with my mom. So there's questions and things I want to talk about with her. And what better way to do that than on the 100 episode of the Motherhood is Ghetto podcast. So stay tuned for that. I have that idea now, but tomorrow it'll probably be something different. So just stay tuned. Episode 100 is coming up. But I'm super proud of that. It only took me, what, 20. I started this podcast in 2022. It's now 2026. Like, I was very inconsistent at the start of this podcast journey, but now I feel like we're on the right track. Amen. So, but yeah, that's coming up. But today's episode, I wanted to touch on this topic briefly. And then also too, I got a question from a listener that kind of ties into this, but not really. But I was at work the other day and I was talking to a coworker and we started talking about married single mothers. So take a deep breath. If you are a mom listening right now and you've ever experienced being a married single mother, raise your hand. Raise your hand, because um that shit's real, and it gets real heavy, it gets real sticky, and it is not the best position to be in as a married woman, as a woman, period. um I don't talk about it a lot here on the podcast about like my marriage in general and how it was, but I will say that I did spend the majority of my marriage being a single mom, and I don't say that, and I don't mean any disrespect towards my husband at all, because there were times like where he did help and he did contribute and he did provide that, but there are also times where he didn't. There were times like where my husband was genuinely like sick physically and he couldn't help or contribute, which and those times, like, I'm not counting, because that's what you stay down for, like in sickness and in health. So I was definitely that wife, like when my husband was down, like it was no worries. But when he was up and still didn't want to help contribute, like all that stuff, that's the parts of it where I experienced being a married single mom. And me and my coworker were just talking about this briefly, and talking about like the mental toll it takes on moms, the physical toll. I mean, from having to do everything for the kids, like you give them their baths, you put them to bed, you make the meals, you feed them, you dress them in the morning, you're taking them to appointments, you're doing the drop-offs and the pickups from school. You're meeting with the teachers. You're just doing everything. Like you're cleaning up the house. You're taking care of everything while your husband does virtually nothing. Virtually nothing. But then he want a little hanky panky at the end of the day. Like he want a little, he want a little trying not to be vulgar on this podcast. But he want his afternoon delights. And it's like, I'm tired. Like I do everything. Like, and now I have to do this. Like, that's crazy. But yes, but we had this conversation, and I was like you're right, like that the mental toll that it could take on a woman, and that's hard to come back from. Like it's hard to get out of that survival mode and that go mode and everything on you feeling and mentality, like once you're in it. And I can honestly say, like, it took me a long time to come out of that, where I don't feel like everything is an emergency, because I feel like that's a lot of how I operated when I was younger. Was everything was an emergency. Everything caught me off guard. I was never prepared for anything because I had so much on my plate and I was dealing with so many things at once. So that way, when something did come up, like it was always a surprise, like I just wasn't expecting it. And not having a partner who's willing, like, to take some of those things off of your plate, it makes it hard. It really does. And I'll say that, like I said, like my whole marriage wasn't like this, but the majority of it was. And I would say in the end, he was definitely trying harder, and doing more, which, like I'm forever grateful for that. Um, but yeah, like the mental toll that it took on me was pretty rough. So now I virtually don't depend on anyone to do anything. When people say they're going to do things, I don't hold them to it. Um just because I guess I just don't want to be disappointed if they don't come through. So if you tell me you're going to do something for me and then it ends up not happening, and you say, "Oh, that's my bad. Like, I'm sorry." Like, it's no worries. Like, I like it doesn't the- it doesn't like make me feel any type of way, like if you don't come through for me, because I'm just used to it. And it's kind of hard to break that. uh like I said, like I think I've broken the pattern of everything feeling like an emergency and everything feeling like I'm in survival mode. That part of it is over. But the part of it where like I would just rather do things myself, for myself, by myself, so that way I eliminate the risk of feeling disappointed or hurt when someone doesn't come through for me. Like I'm cool with that. And that's probably something that I got to deal with or talk about in therapy or something, because I don't want to go into, if I do go into another relationship, I don't want to go into it like with that mentality like yeah, like he can't do anything for me. Like I just I'll expect the least, so that I'll expect the least, so I'm always underwhelmed, like not overwhelmed. But I don't want to go into a relationship like that. I don't want friendships like that. So, um, but that's what I mean, like that being a married single mom, like it could really take a toll on you mentally, and where you don't even want people to help you, you don't ask for help. And I can remember after my husband passed away, like the amount of people that were willing to help me genuinely. Like, I honestly didn't believe it. I was like, there has to be a catch, because, like, I didn't know this many people cared or even like had a desire to help me if anything went wrong. Like, so it was hard for me to accept the help. Eventually, like I had to, but it was really hard to even fathom that anyone wanted to help me, because I've experienced that where I've had someone right by my side and they just didn't want to help. So that was a lot to take in and try to get over and work through. And I'm still working through it. When I bought my house and I was getting ready to move, like I had already had it set in my mind that I was going to hire movers, because that's what I had always said. I was like, the next time I move, I'm going to hire movers. Like, I'm not doing this. um but like my friends were like, girl, what? No, like we gonna help you move. And I was like, for real? And they're like, yeah, like we gonna help you move. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, we got you. And then even with that, I was like, if no one shows up, like that's okay. Like everything's already packed. Like I've packed a U-Haul by myself before. I could do it again. Like I wasn't worried about it. Like I wasn't tripping. But then when they showed up, like I almost cried. I was like, wow, y'all really did show up. Like that's cool. So yeah, like I'm still trying to get used to the fact that people actually want to be here for me and want to help. But yeah, being a married single mom is not, it's not ideal, but the reality is that a lot of us live that reality. And if you're listening to this and you have experienced or are experiencing being a married single mom, then just know, like, I know exactly what you're going through. I feel what you're going through, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, like in your marriage, or what to say to this person. But at the end of the day, like, do what's best for you, um, whatever that means. And if you have questions or you want to talk about it a little bit more, hit me up in my DMs and we could talk about it together. But I think that you know what I mean when I say do what's best for you, because I know that if I was speaking to myself, I would know exactly what I was talking about. So, yeah, do what's best for you and those kids. Amen. Um I can remember someone asking me like after my husband passed away, someone asking me like, or no, they made a statement. They were like it has to be hard, like raising kids by yourself. And granted, it is. You know, it is hard, especially having two sons, raising two black men, and not having a black male figure, like a constant black male figure in their lives, like daily. Um, yeah, that's just tough. And when things, go on like in the household, not having someone to kind of like talk to, bounce ideas off of, like, yeah, it's tough. Um, and then they had mentioned something about like finances and like financial struggle. And I was like, Actually, that really nothing with that changed when my husband passed away, because I was always financially taking care of our family. That didn't, there was no blip in the reporting when he passed away, because I've always financially taken care of my family, and I will continue. So that never changed. But as far as the dynamic shift of him not being here, his kids missing him, and their father just not being here, like, yeah, like that took a toll on us. Like that hit us really hard, and we're still like going through the ramifications of all that. But in hindsight, like I feel like as a mom, I've gotten better and more resourceful. I've learned to trust myself more, which is, we covered that a few episodes back too, learning to trust yourself and trust your intuition. I do a lot of that now. I don't second guess myself anymore, especially when it comes to my kids. If I feel like I need to say something or take action on something or do something when it comes to them, I do it. Now, do I hesitate with me sometimes? Yes. Just to be honest and transparent. Yes, I do hesitate with me sometimes. I don't mean to, but I'm getting better. But yeah, like being a single mom has taught me a lot. And even when I was a married single mom, it taught me a lot too. And yeah, that's sometimes the reality of it. Um what I will say though is, talk to your partner. If you're going through that right now, see where they stand. Let them know, like, hey, like this is where I need help with. Why aren't you helping me? Why can't you help? um and really get to the bottom of it, of what it is, and then from there you can make the best decision for yourself and your family from there, with that information that you get. So do what's best for you when it's best to do it. And yeah, just know that my heart goes out to you. You're always in my thoughts and prayers, because I've been there. I've lived that life. It's not a good place to be in. And yeah. But I want to talk about it more in depth on a different episode. But I just want to touch on that briefly. So, um, to wrap up this episode, I did get a question from a listener. So I'm gonna grab my handy dandy iPad and we're gonna answer her question. And y'all, if y'all are watching the visuals, I'm having a bad hair day today. I get my hair done in like 2 weeks, but I'm having a bad hair day today. So please excuse the mess. Amen. So this listener wrote in, "Hi Joy, I'm a 34-year-old mom of two, ages 8 and 10. I recently made the decision to divorce my husband. We've been married for 10 years, and after a recent act of infidelity on his part, I've decided to end the marriage. I've recently started listening to your podcast, and I love the way you navigate through single motherhood with confidence. I'm so scared to have to do things alone, but I just can't in good faith stay in this marriage. My questions are: one, were you scared to be a single mom? And two, what did you do to overcome the fear? Thank you so much for listening and allowing me to share." Thank you for sharing. And just disclaimers, she did give me permission to share on the show. Amen. To share her questions on the show. So thank you so much for sharing. I guess I'll start off by saying, like, I'm definitely sorry to hear that you are ending your marriage. I know how hard of a choice that must have been. So like, I'm proud of you for, making a choice and putting yourself first. Um to answer your first question, were you scared to be a single mom? Um I think I think for me, because of the circumstance, like like I didn't choose to be a single mom. It was chosen for me. But I think the part of it that I was scared of was I wasn't sure of how my children would grow up to be without their dad in their life. And I don't know if your situation is, I don't know if your husband or soon to be ex-husband is going to be completely out of the picture, or if you guys are going to continue to co-parent. I don't know that, but I do know that for me that was one of my fears, was like, and will I be able to raise these kids right, to raise them to be good kids and productive members of society, like kids with good heads on their shoulders. Like that was my main thing that I was scared of. Like I wasn't up to the task of raising two boys and a girl by myself. And I was scared that I wouldn't have that masculine structure in my home that I would need to be able to raise them, in a home that has a good balance of both, of the masculine and the feminine. I think that was what I was scared of the most. um like I just explained, financially, no, I wasn't scared. Because I already know, like I know me, like I'm gonna make sure we got a roof over our head and we got food to eat and we got lights on and we got water. And that's, yeah, that's a given. Um, and then two, what did you do to overcome the fear? So to overcome the fears that I had of not being good enough to raise them right, and to raise them, to be good kids. Um, I think I think what I did to overcome that fear was I I created more of an open relationship with my kids, so that way they could come to me when they felt like, um mom, like I don't like when you do this, or I think it would be better if you did this type of stuff. So my kids are really comfortable with telling me, like, what works for them and what doesn't work for them, and how I can be a better mom to them. um and I think that was important for us, all of us, because I don't want to ever do things, you know I don't want to do things to cause any like friction or any tension in my home. And I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to compromise on some things. And I'm willing to flex and be flexible with my parenting style and how I raise my kids. I don't necessarily believe in like there's just one way to raise children and that's just the way. I really do feel like parenting and motherhood is like a give and take. There will be some things that you have to sacrifice. And just to be completely honest, like it's just a different generation of children that are being raised. Like they're exposed to different things, they know different things. So I can't raise them just like I was raised in the 90s. Like I can't, because it's not the 90s anymore. So I have to be able to be flexible. So that was one of the ways that I overcame the fear, by not sticking to one way to raise the kids, and looking at different things and talking to different parents, and like getting ideas on what they do with their kids. Watching videos of moms that have children who are autistic and how they navigate that, single parents with children who are on the spectrum. All those things, like I just kind of dived into to give myself a level of confidence. And a lot of the stuff that I was watching and consuming too, like validated some of the things that I had already been doing. So that gave me the confidence, like in the push to keep going and just to be better. So that's pretty much my goal. Like I try to be a better mom than I was the day before. So if I fell short somewhere, then I do my best to pick it back up the next day. Um But yeah, that's pretty much really the only thing that I was afraid of. I think also too, well actually let me not say that. The other thing that I was afraid of is my children, uh now the potential of my children like being parentless has raised, because if something happens to me before they reach the age of adulthood, then like they have no one. So that was something too that I was afraid of. So I really went into I went into maniac mode by like getting everything with my health checked, like going to the doctor. Like I was like borderline hypochondriac. I was like I cannot, like there's something wrong with me. Like when I had my first panic attack, like I called 911 for myself. Like I was so scared. I was like I'm going to die. Like, oh my god, like I don't even know what's going on. So that really that scared me too. Just the thought of my children, the thought of me not being here for my kids while they're still kids really scared me. So I'll say that that does still kind of scare me, but I'm in a better place as far as like I don't think that I'm dying every time something happens to me or I get sick. Um but yeah, that is something that I was scared of also. And really with that, I to overcome that fear, like I just do a lot of praying, because I can't control like, what's gonna happen to me. Even if I keep myself in the best health, like I could walk outside and something happen. So I don't have any control over that. So the things that I cannot control, I pray about. And I leave it in God's hands, and that's all I can do. But the things that I do have control over, like the way that I raise my kids and how I parent, and the levels of masculine parenting and feminine parenting that I give, like that, all of that I have control over. So that gives me confidence to move forward. So but yeah, but I hope that those that answer your questions. Thank you so much for submitting the question. I appreciate you. And again, I'm praying for you, and I hope everything works out. And if you want to send me an update later on, let me know how everything goes. I would love to hear it. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and land the plane here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to like and share it with anyone you think would also find it helpful. Also, don't forget to follow me. I'm on Instagram at motherhood underscore is ghetto. You can follow me there, keep up with me and the kids there. Also, too, don't forget to follow the show if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And also, the show's on YouTube, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Join the motherhood, the neighborhood, and all that good stuff. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. And the 100th episode is on the way. I want to make it really special for you guys. So, Mom, if you listening, and I know you are, just be prepared to be on camera, and your microphone gonna be hot. Amen. I know I be getting on my mom's nerves. I know I do. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, mamas. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Don't forget to follow the podcast and share with anyone who you think may enjoy it. And follow me on Instagram at motherhood underscores ghetto. Also, feel free to DM me if you have any experiences, opinions, or views on motherhood you'd like me to share on the podcast. Until next time, mamas.